The day has finally arrived, people. So, today I received a package in the mail from a Mr. Robert Baker. As some of you know, some of you don't know, Robert did a giveaway last week for a Squier Esquire Classic Vibe 50s edition. And he did a number of videos on this axe, which I will link in the description below, which I'm sure he will do a hell of a lot more justice to this guitar than I ever could. He did a giveaway for it, and he basically just asked everyone to comment on the video and to say who their favorite guitar player was, and those types of things. Why not? You can't win if you don't enter, right? So I just made some crack about Keith being my favorite guitarist, and I just put the comment down and didn't think anything else of it. Later that night, I think it was Wednesday night that he actually did the giveaway, I started getting a lot of emails, because every time that I do a comment on YouTube, whenever somebody replies to a comment, I should say, I started getting all these emails, and I'm like, what is going on? My phone is blowing up. And then I remembered, ding, I'd entered the giveaway, and I was like, oh crap, I actually won something in my life. That's great. I don't have very good luck with that kind of stuff, as I'm sure a lot of you would probably say the same thing. It's just hard to win, but I won it, so hey, great. So let's get to the unboxing right now. So give me a sec here while I cut the top open here. This is where the excitement starts to kick in, folks. It's another box. Hey guys, I got another box. There's a note. It says J Money. Dude, enjoy this rock and roll machine. Make sure everyone in the house knows you got a new guitar with a big old A chord. Robert. I love you, man. Thank you. All right. I'm probably going to have to lay this down because I'm in the basement. But I've got low ceilings. I'm going to have to come at this a different way. We're going to attack it from different vantage points. All right. So, this is kind of like the unboxing that's already happened, obviously. Robert opened this up, and he did a few videos with this guitar. So, this isn't the first time it's been opened, obviously. But I don't believe that he did anything to it as far as setup is concerned. I could be wrong, Robert. If you're watching, let us know if you actually set this guitar up. But I'm assuming it's pretty much how you would get it stock from the Squier factory. Squier by Fender. Oh, is this good stuff? Oh, it's the good stuff, the good bubble wrap. All right. I'm such a dork. Nicely packed, brother. Oh. So I got a 55-point inspection from Sweetwater, which I always think is pretty cool. And the axe layeth insideth the boxeth. I don't know why I'm going all Renaissance fair on it, but you can already kind of see the color. It looks like it arrived in one piece, so that's definitely good. Alright, I'm going to make sure we get a proper reveal on this. Okay. Ready? Push! Oh, that's not proper reveal. Oh god, that was terrible. Ah! Oh, my beauty. Wow. Holy crap. Feel that neck. Oh boy. So, I have a Squier Affinity Telly that I play a lot because I like the neck. I like maple necks. They're a little bit faster. They just feel a little bit more comfortable to me in the hand. And this one is no exception. I can already tell I'm going to friggin' love this neck. The vintage white color is, I think, supposed to be sort of like a play on like what a white would look like after it aged for some time. You just have the big, thick, white pickguard right there. 5-hole pickguard. 3-way selector switch. This three-way selector switch feels a lot better than the one that's on my Affinity, for sure. I'm sure this is not going to be in tune. Oh, it is. Couple other things I notice on this thing is the input jack has one of those recessed metal input jacks right there. Very, very nice. String through body. The Affinity Telly that I have does not have a string through body. It looks like we've got the staggered pole pieces style. Esquires I know came with two different pole types. They had a pole type that they were all flat, but these are staggered kind. All right, let's see what we got here. Listen to that hum. The Esquire, why does it have a three-way selector switch? Well, the three-way selector switch, the way that Leo Fender had originally envisioned it, was you have the volume, you have the tone control, right? When this is in the middle position, you can use the volume and tone control as you wish, right? But when you turn it either forward or backwards, you bypass the tone control completely. So if you switch it up, you're going to get a darker tone. So you can do almost like a very bassy kind of in the mix rhythm guitar part. But if you go to the front part, or I'm sorry, the basically facing backwards, you get all the honk and quack that you can possibly get out of this thing. But if you hear the difference, there's actually a difference in the two tones. When you hear the middle position, there's a little bit more quack. Why? Because when you switch it that way, it bypasses the tone control. So basically all the wiring, the extra potentiometer, all the other stuff that comes along with that, it all kind of gets bypassed. So now you have a more just straight in clean signal that is just, you know. So what are my first impressions? Well, my first impressions of it are that I can play this thing all night, for God's sakes. It's very comfortable. And it's also very simple. One of the things that a lot of people have, said, or it's just a misunderstood instrument. What's weird to me is that the Esquire will be extremely misunderstood, but the Les Paul Jr.'s not. And it's pretty much the same, right? It's got one single coil pickup. So I never really understood why we think that it's just a different guitar, or it's like not as versatile. A guitar is only as versatile as the person who's holding it, right? I've heard people make this sound really good, Robert Baker among them, and there's people that have played Esquires in history with the one pickup configuration that obviously made it work. So, in my opinion, this guitar is no worse or less than anything else that you can buy. Now, a lot of people would say, well, why would I buy a $400 Esquire when I can buy a $400 Telecaster and get two for the price of one? Well, because it sounds different. And also, because believe it or not, I think that this configuration has a better onboard setup than the Telecaster does. And let me explain why. So when you're playing live, right, the last thing that you want to worry about is everything, right? Like, you don't want to worry about having to fiddle with your amp positions. You don't want to have to figure about, what's going on with your pedal board. You want to set it and forget it, right? Now, the great thing about this guitar is that, you can be playing on a nice middle position here, right? Where you got maybe your tones rolled off a little bit. Let me demonstrate here, right? So you're just rocking along in the middle position, right? Maybe your tones rolled off to about 70, 60%. Then you got to do a solo, right? Well, instead of having to go and play with your pedals, I'm terrible at soloing, so don't but you get the point, right? It's just simple. And a lot of players, they are drawn towards simple. Now, the other good thing about it is for beginners, there's a lot less to worry about. You got your volume, you got your tone, you got a very simple kind of layout here. And it's great for beginners because they don't have to worry about so much. They can get as much as they can out of this guitar. And then when they want to graduate to a Strat or a Les Paul or something that has a lot more kind of tonal variety, then maybe, they'll be wow. Or maybe they'll go back to this because they like the simplicity of it. But everybody's probably more wondering about, the overall fit and finish. This thing is legit, man. It's really, really nice. Squier obviously has hit home run after home run, especially I'd say over the last decade or so. Squier was firmly known as a cheap guitar brand, and now, they are definitely coming to their own as a viable guitar brand. Let me explain why I think that. Fender raised all their prices. So now, for a Fender Player Strat, which back in the day was the Fender Standard Stratocaster, which I remember when I was coming up, it was probably around $450. Now the cheapest Fender Strat made in Mexico that you can get is $700. That's, for a lot of people, that's too much money. They're going to go to the Squier a lot more. The Squier has become the Epiphone. And I think Squier was even worse than Epiphone for a while in kind of name brand recognition. But I really think that they've come a long way to the point now where they're Epiphone. They have raised their bar to that point. And the fact that they make an Esquire, man, I mean, it's just legit. It's just so simple. It's like you look at this guitar, it's almost like the picture of a guitar, There's no frills, there's no nothing. It's just, this is a rock and roll axe. You just plug it in, you crank it up, and you just have fun, And that's really all there is. But yeah, man, I mean, this guitar it's just nice. I mean, the nut feels good. The action feels good. Obviously, the lacquered fretboard gives you a nice feel to it. It's a very kind of, it's not slippery, which I'm always afraid of with lacquered fretboards. I've played Rickenbackers, in the shop before, and they're almost slippery, but this one is not. You still get a nice kind of feel to it. That's about all I got for you for this one. So thank you so much, Robert, for making this happen. I will cherish it. You're going to see it in a lot of videos for sure. Definitely, because I just think I'm going to go reaching for it all the time. I mean, yeah, man, I mean, now I got this thing, it's man, what do I pick up? I have the Squier Telly, which I'm used to, and my Affinity Telly. Now I have this one. Man, it's just, I mean, look at this thing, dude. This thing's legit.